Welcome back to Techstination. Joining us is Shiv Chhabra, the co-founder and CEO of a company called Dosis, D-O-S-I-S. Thank you for joining us, Shiv.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Fred.
You're in the medical tech business, so give us an overview of what you're doing.
Absolutely. So Dosis is an artificial intelligence-powered personalized dosing platform that's designed to change the way that chronic diseases are managed by helping clinicians, that is, doctors and nurses, dose medications more efficiently. So our first application is called Strategic Anemia Advisor, or SAA for short, and it's focused on chronic anemia, which is mostly prevalent amongst kidney disease patients. So chronic anemia is managed by a class of drugs called erythropoiesis-stimulating agents, or ESAs for short. And SAA is based on research from the University of Louisville in Kentucky that was validated for over 10 years, but was used primarily as a research tool until we commercialized it to bring it to a wider market. We were founded in 2017, and we've generated over 2 million dosing recommendations so far.
Well, describe for us what the problems out there are in simple terms for us and how you solve them.
Absolutely. So today, drug dosing is done using a one-size-fits-all approach, which Dosis turns into a personalized approach. So the one-size-fits-all approach is usually a paper protocol developed by a medical director at each dialysis clinic. And the medical director uses his or her clinical experience and expertise to create what's effectively a decision tree for dosing this drug. So at a high level, you can imagine something like, if the hemoglobin decreases by 20%, increase the dose by 20%. Now, of course, the paper protocols are slightly more complicated than that, but that's how you can think of it at a high level. Now, this is a system that's worked well enough up until now, but dosing a drug is actually a multifactorial problem. It's really difficult for these decision trees to create a comprehensive set of rules that can account for all the variables that can impact a particular patient's response. Moreover, practically speaking, it's nearly impossible for any human to incorporate all the factors that can inform that particular response. I mean, can you imagine a doctor or nurse having to solve differential equations all day while also caring for patients? But now we can actually solve this multifactorial problem in a practical way, thanks to advances in technology like artificial intelligence to effectuate a truly personalized approach to drug dosing. And that's what we do. What we have found as Dosis, through both the research and through commercial use, is that personalized dosing increases dose efficiency. We use less drug to achieve the same or better outcomes, which has both a clinical benefit and an economic benefit. On the clinical side, patients are exposed to less drug, which means a lower likelihood of serious adverse events like heart attacks or strokes. And on the economic side, it means lower drug usage, which results in lowered healthcare costs.
What do you need to know about the patient for the artificial intelligence to be of value there?
Absolutely. So we really just need to know how the patient has responded to the drug in the past. So we look at up to 3 months of their dosing history, basically the amount of drug they've been given and what the response has been. And we treat the patient as an integrator, meaning that whatever other factors do exist, their gender, their weight, their genetic predisposition to metabolizing certain drugs better than others, all those are actually incorporated in the response that's observed. So by observing that response and by analyzing that observed response, we're able to recommend optimal future dosing for that patient.
It sounds related, but somewhat different to the concept of creating pharmaceuticals, drugs based on an individual's DNA. But it sounds like it's related to some extent.
Yeah, absolutely. So a genetic component is absolutely going to be a factor in how a person responds to a drug. But like I said, our technology it allows the patient to be treated as an integrator, as in all of the various components, including genetics, are integrated into the observed response. So we don't need to model out each individual factor that contributes to that patient's response. And we actually found in the research in the early stages that when we did try to do that, the weight of all those factors over time actually dropped to zero, because while they may play a role in where a drug should be initiated, especially over the longer term, everything that you need can be found from the response that the patient actually has that can actually be observed empirically.
So from here, where do you go after you've worked on this issue with the anemia pharmaceuticals?
Sure. So there's a lot of potential for growth that we see both within the kidney space and without. Truly, any drug that is administered chronically and that has a narrow therapeutic range is a drug that we think can benefit from our platform and from personalized dosing using our platform. Specifically within the anemia, or rather within the kidney space, we have a module under development for mineral and bone disorder, which is a common comorbidity for dialysis patients as well. And that would involve the dosing of 3 classes of drugs in tandem, which we believe we would be the first ones to do successfully.
Really interesting. So from this perspective, I mean, is there a wide range of drugs that you will be tackling or hope to tackle in the future?
Absolutely. There are many different drugs that could fall under this umbrella. There are drugs like anticoagulation factors. There are anti-inflammatory drugs. There are drugs like insulin, which there are a number of companies going after, but that really would be kind of an ideal case for us as well.
How and why did you get into this? What was your motivation?
Well, our motivation was really we saw that it was the technology that we saw at the University of Louisville. We saw that it was solving a problem that we felt was really under-addressed. It seemed like a real problem that a lot of clinicians were facing, and that had a real human cost as well. Not only was drug dosing difficult for providers to do well, and they were facing a lot of pressures to do it better and better with a limited number of tools at their disposal. The costs of not doing it so well tend to build up over time as well, and those are costs that are felt by the patients with their condition not being as well managed as it could be, and with them being exposed to more drug than they need to be.
So for more information, where can people go?
You can go to our website, dosisinc.com.
Shiv Chhabra, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Thank you, Fred.
Now this. It takes a lot of listening to build a better radio, and that's just what the folks at C. Crane have done. Bob Crane and his crew, nestled among the rivers and tallest trees in the world in Fortuna, California, have made a habit of listening to their customers. And that's just what they've done in building the CC Skywave SSB, the Swiss Army knife of portable radios. For everyday listening to AM or FM in the yard or patio or on the nightstand without having to drain a mobile phone battery, it's a great companion. But it is also a companion equipped for NOAA weather information and alerts that can be life-saving. You can listen to FEMA and Coast Guard transmissions too. Beyond all of that, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world. It's compact, easy to take with you, and built to last. The CC Skywave SSB. click on the link at Techstination.com.